What if I told you that the asset most people still call risky could actually become one of the safest places to store wealth by 2026? Sounds crazy, right? Because when most people hear Bitcoin, they think of volatility, crashes, uncertainty. They remember headlines like Bitcoin drops 50%, crypto market wipes billions, and instantly they label it as dangerous. But what if the real risk is not Bitcoin? What if the real risk is the system you already trust? Let's break this down. Because to understand why Bitcoin could become a safe haven, you first need to understand what safe really means. Most people think safe means stable price, something that doesn't move much, something predictable, something that feels calm. That's why people think of things like gold, or real estate, or even cash in the bank. But here's the problem. Stability does not always mean safety. In fact, sometimes the most stable things are slowly losing value right in front of you, and you don't even notice it. Let's talk about money. The money you use every day is constantly being printed. More supply every year. Governments increase it, central banks control it, and decisions are made without your input. Now think about this. If more money is created, but real value doesn't increase at the same rate, what happens? Your money becomes weaker. This is called inflation, and it's not just a theory. You feel it every day. Groceries cost more, rent keeps rising, fuel prices increase, and people say everything is getting expensive. But that's not the full truth. What's really happening is your money is losing purchasing power, slowly, silently, but constantly. Now here's the key question. If your money is guaranteed to lose value over time, is it really safe? Or does it just feel safe because you're used to it? This is where Bitcoin enters the conversation. Bitcoin was designed to solve this exact problem. Unlike traditional money, Bitcoin has a fixed supply. 21 million, that's it. No one can print more. No government can change it. No central authority controls it. And that changes everything. Because for the first time, you have an asset that cannot be diluted. Now let's address the biggest concern. Volatility. Yes, Bitcoin moves a lot. Up, down, sometimes aggressively. And that scares people. But here's what most people don't understand. Volatility is short-term noise. Safety is long-term structure. In the short term, Bitcoin looks unstable, but in the long term, it has consistently moved in one direction, up, not in a straight line, but in cycles. And every cycle follows a pattern. It rises, it crashes, it consolidates, and then it rises again, each time reaching new highs. But here's the catch. Most people only enter during the hype phase, when prices are already high, when media attention is everywhere, when everyone is talking about it, and that's when risk is actually highest. So they buy late and panic early. Then they say, Bitcoin is too risky, but the truth is, they entered at the wrong time. Now imagine a different approach. Instead of chasing hype, you understand the system. You see Bitcoin not as a quick trade, but as long-term protection. Protection against inflation, protection against currency devaluation, protection against a system you can't control. And suddenly, volatility doesn't scare you anymore because you're not focused on weeks or months, you're focused on years. And this is exactly why many experts believe Bitcoin could act as a safe haven by 2026. Because the world is changing, debt levels are rising globally, money printing continues, currencies are losing trust, and people are starting to look for alternatives. Historically, that role was filled by gold, but Bitcoin is different. It's digital, it's borderless, it's easy to transfer, and it's verifiably scarce. You don't need to trust a bank. You don't need permission. You just need access. And that's powerful. Now think about the next few years. As more people begin to understand this, as institutions adopt Bitcoin, as governments struggle with inflation, demand increases, but supply stays the same. And when demand rises against fixed supply, price follows. That's basic economics. But again, this isn't just about price, it's about perception. Because for Bitcoin to become a true safe haven, people need to stop seeing it as speculation and start seeing it as protection. And that shift is already happening, slowly, quietly, just like all major changes do. At first, only a few people understand, then more start paying attention, and eventually, it becomes obvious to everyone. But by then, the biggest opportunity is gone. And this is where most people make a mistake. They wait. They wait until it feels safe. They wait until everyone agrees. They wait until the uncertainty disappears. But here's the truth. By the time Bitcoin feels safe, it's already expensive, because safety in markets comes after growth, not before it. So the real advantage comes from understanding early, from seeing what others don't yet see, from acting before it becomes mainstream. And this is where Bitcoin stands today. It's no longer unknown, but it's still misunderstood. Most people still see it as risky, which means we are still early, and that's the opportunity. Now let's be clear, Bitcoin is not risk-free, nothing is. But there's a difference between temporary volatility and permanent loss of value. One is visible, the other is hidden. And most people fear what they can see while ignoring what they can't. They fear price drops, but ignore inflation. They fear short-term losses, but ignore long-term erosion. And that's why they stay stuck. But once you shift your perspective, everything changes. You stop asking, is Bitcoin safe today? And start asking, is my current system actually safe long-term? That's a different question, a more important one. And once you think that way, Bitcoin starts to make sense. Not as a gamble, not as a trend, but as a strategic position, a hedge, a form of financial independence. And by 2026, this idea could become much more widely accepted, not because people suddenly love Bitcoin, but because they lose trust in everything else. And when that happens, Bitcoin doesn't need hype, it becomes a necessity. If you want to understand Bitcoin before it becomes obvious to everyone and position yourself early, then subscribe. Because by the time the world calls Bitcoin safe, the biggest gains will already be behind.